and welcome to our flipped instructional session, Unit 3, Lesson 12 on Hammurabi's Code. Here's a quick lesson overview of all of the different sections in this lesson. As you can see, there are quite a few, and so we're going to try to hit on a few of these in this flipped session. Don't forget to print out the notes guide for Unit 3 and for this lesson. Bring that to class. And as you are reading through the lesson, make sure that you're taking a look at the objectives. The objectives for this lesson, we want to be able to explain why codification of law is important. So why are laws important to have? Identify Hammurabi and his most significant accomplishment. We want to be able to explain the historical significance of Hammurabi's principle that the strong shall not oppress the weak. Analyze primary source material to recognize the significance of written law. And then also at the end, as you read on, you're going to identify Nebuchadnezzar and his major accomplishments. All right, so before we jump into the actual lesson, here is our quick history of the day. You be the judge. And so here are some situations that Hammurabi faced. And before you come to class, I want you to decide what you think would be a fair way to deal with this problem. And then in class, after you've kind of discussed and talked about maybe with what you came up with, we'll see what Hammurabi actually declared. So read through these. What should be done to the carpenter who builds a house that falls and kills the owner? What should be done when a sister of God or a nun enters the wine shop for a drink? What happens if a man is unable to pay his debts? What happens to the wine seller who fails to arrest bad characters gathered at her shop? What should be done about a wife who ignores her duties and belittles her husband? What should be done if a son is adopted and then the birth parents want him back? What should happen to a boy who slaps his father? And how is the truth determined when one man brings an accusation against another? So just think through those and come to class ready to talk about what you think would be a fair way to deal with these situations.
So let's actually jump into our lesson introduction together. Remember, the lesson resources are there for you to open up the student guide as you start your lesson. So why do we have laws? Is it to protect us from criminals, to make it clear to everyone what is allowed and what is not? Is it to help the government control the citizens? Hammurabi wasn't the first ruler to have written laws down, but his ideas about the purpose and the organization of law have had a lasting impact on the world. Next, we're going to explore a code of law. So Hammurabi is still famous today because he established order by giving his people a code of laws that applied to everybody. He tried to protect the weak from the strong. Remember, in our objectives, it said what is meant. And so there, he was trying to protect the weaker people from strong people. His legal code was an enormous step forward in civilization's concept of justice. All right, so our explore a code of law, our warm-up. To help keep Hammurabi's reign in perspective, access the timeline to understand the ancient civilization's timeline, which includes a section on Babylon. Okay, so here is that timeline. So take a look at the timeline and take a look at, you can see all the different things that you can click on and go through. So you've got your introduction and you can click on the different times. And then we can go here. So become familiar with this timeline, read through that. And then to explore the situations Hammurabi created rules to solve, visit this website. And this is kind of, you be the judge, Hammurabi's Code. It's going to tell you that you're leaving the D2L course, and that's fine. And this is kind of what we took a look at the beginning. Okay, so take a look at that website. Don't click on that. Okay, and as you scroll down, you'll see some of these, and this is what we're going to take a look at together, what should be done in these situations. Okay, so you can visit that website as well, but know that we're also going to take a look at that together in class. All right, on the next screen, you are going to explore Analyze the Code. So it tells us to follow the directions in the Use What You Know section of the student guide. It also gives us the materials that we're going to need, the extra Read All About It sheet. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And then we are going to go to the student guide and see what it says. So it says in the Use What You Know section, so here is the Use What You Know section. You are a citizen of Babylon, and Hammurabi's Code has just been released to the public. So you're going to read the sections of the code on the extra Read All About It sheet, which we have just opened up. You're going to review the sections of the code in your text. Remember, that was in pages 85 through 87, where it talks about Hammurabi and his code in your textbook. 85 through 87. You're going to answer the questions on the extra Read All About It sheet. And then you can even write a short letter to a friend in another city telling him what you think of the code. Are you for it, against it, or just to simply explain kind of where you stand in regards to Hammurabi's Code? And we'll discuss that in class together. And you can even consider interviewing other citizens, your parents or siblings or friends. Include their ideas as well. What do they think? Are they for it, against it? So explain that. Bring this to class with you, and we will go over this together. The next slide in your lesson is the lesson assessment. So if you want to wait and take that after our flip follow-up session, then you can do that. So the next slide is Read On. So you are going to follow the directions in the Read On section of the student guide. As you can see here, it gives you a reading guide to fill out and answer as you go through that. So let's open up the student guide. So you're going to read on after you've taken your assessment, or like I said, you can wait. But as you read chapter 7 from the beginning to Nebuchadnezzar's Hanging Garden. So you're going to be reading pages 89 to 94 and answering the questions on the reading guide about Nebuchadnezzar. Bring that to class, and we will briefly talk about that as well.
And then last but not least, we have Beyond the Lesson, and this is an optional activity just to provide some extra enrichment or practice. So you can skip this activity, but it is fun. So you can read a play about Hammurabi's Code from 24 exciting plays for history classes. So you can click that link in your course. It'll take you to the play. So you can see I've got a snippet of the play up here. So you can read that with some family members, have fun with that. If anybody wants to record that or record a video, I would love to see it. That would be a fun extra activity as well. So feel free to do that. And if you do, share it with me. So a quick lesson wrap up. So you're going to explore the timeline at the beginning, which includes a section on Babylon. So make sure that you look at that section on the timeline. And then you visit the website, You Be the Judge on Hammurabi's Code. We're going to go over that together in class. So decide what you think should happen in each of those situations. Then you're going to complete the sheet, extra Read All About It worksheet. Remember that you can refer to pages 85 through 87 in your textbook for that worksheet. Think about writing a letter to a friend explaining what are your thoughts on Hammurabi's Code. Put that in your notes and we can discuss that in class as well. And then it goes to the Read On section, which is pages 89 through 94. And you're going to complete the reading guide that goes along with that and Nebuchadnezzar. So bring those with you to class and we will go over those and review them. So once again, I will see you on the flip side. Look for the flip follow-up session in your Class Connect schedule. Complete those activities, bring them together, and we will discuss those in class as well as do some other fun activities. If you have any other questions, you can attend a help lab for additional support. Have fun, and I'll see you soon.